as well. Okay. But I mean, I'll tell them that. Just make sure the username and the password are right.
Yes.
Thank you for your help.
No. I don't have them put together.
Hey,
They're
Rodney.
all on that.
Hi,
They're all on
how are you?
the
Hey,
Ethernet.
good. How was
I don't-
Hawaii?
Oh, we had a
Talking to
good
each
time.
other, so.
Yeah, I can tell you're still enjoying it.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
how
was interesting
fun.
because I was able to loop it to
Texas.
my Apple TV
Wow.
and put it in my big
Then went to
screen
Hawaii.
TV.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Whatever was
Got
on,
back
well, it's on my,
Saturday.
Oh my gosh. Well, how fun.
Well, I travel. I was
Good for you.
And I don't think I want to be flying for at least a month.
Yeah.
the other thing I
I'm
love is
flying
that
to
one
see my
command.
son.
when you
Oh,
boot it,
Teresa,
it's an
have an idea for you.
Apple Y or something,
This is what we need.
and it turns it,
We need
when you
to-
had FireWire, it would turn the computer just into a hard drive. So then you could hook it to any of your other computers and take whatever you want. I don't, since I don't have a FireWire anymore in these later computers, I don't know if I can still do that through USB.
Yeah.
No, we tried it with USB-C. It has to go through a transfer program. It's actually slower than if you just do it off of Wi-Fi, which is really.
Oh.
For something you can't.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Where is this going?
I'm on the lookout for a discount plan.
Home goods.
There's also a discount for the places to make them at and do that, you know, cheese. Thank you.
Hey, Mick.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Are you in Reno?
I am.
Huh. Looks like you're in Southern California.
Not quite. Yeah, I'm bilocating.
Hi.
Do you need a packet?
Oh, thank you.
No, where is it? Come on.
Like,
Sitting.
yeah, look at.
Oh, you got the magic keyboard. I have one for my iPad.
Look at this though. This is like we really focus on. Didn't work for years.
So how do you like the magic keyboard?
This is magical.
I just, now what do you have, Air or Pro?
Matt, what do I have? Pro.
Oh. I couldn't
It's
afford,
pretty.
I
I don't
couldn't
know.
afford that. I got a simple iPad
It's
with the
pretty.
magic keyboard from Amazon because Apple Store was too expensive.
Well,
I met him.
with his workload,
Yeah, a Pro, yeah.
he needs.
Well,
Because you don't have a MacBook, do
I
you?
do. I have a MacBook Pro.
Yeah, but does he have an M4 processor?
Does not have.
Oh,
But
you gotta trade it in for an M4 processor.
this iPad does.
Everything.
It does like 90% of work.
We have
Is out.
10%.
Got an M4 processor here.
But the 5 is out.
This does.
I
It's
was,
not
I
bad.
was, I was seriously deciding what to
They
do,
said they're
but
not.
I'm having too much fun with my Mac.
This
So-
is.
Yeah,
It should
you have-
be, it should
I'm
all
just
come
together.
together.
And I have
this-
New iMac, but I can't get my 27-inch anymore. It stopped at 24 for some reason.
Hey,
So now I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get another Mac Mini. I got a Mac Mini
just looking around.
with a new chip.
well, I,
Maxed
Great
it
as
out
people here. We
and then just
I-
buy
But
a monitor.
That's what I do, just so.
I have an
you're
idea.
not, you're not.
I'm not.
So this is.
Yeah, we got
Yes.
this.
Robert has tried.
Yeah, my,
Yes.
the current 27 I have is, I don't know, maybe
Cut off here?
2012 or something. It's kind of old.
Okay. Is it in mine?
But it,
Well,
now it's taking
we
10
had,
minutes.
we not
to
have
boot
it last
up.
month, you know? Mine
The
shows
Mac
up.
Mini
No, you know,
boots
last
up
second.
in 5 seconds.
And you might have missed one.
Just like-
There you go.
Like I haven't
Oh,
seen
yeah.
solid state.
Yeah.
And it's got, you know,
Like,
solid
we
state.
do
You want me to pull it up online?
Oh, yeah. Those things.
That
World
makes a
difference.
big difference.
That's
All
a
right, we
big
gotta
thing.
crank this thing up.
It's 1 o'clock.
Okay, I'm
So
going to
if you
share.
don't mind.
I invited a SharePoint up to go as well.
All right.
Thank you. So I don't have to then?
We lost our vice
Thank you,
admiral.
thank you,
Oh.
Carleen.
Where's our vice admiral?
Huh?
Our vice
Vacation.
admiral's not here.
I know. Oh, he said he was not gonna be here.
Oh, okay.
He sent notes. Hi, Rodney.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. How about you?
Pretty good.
Good. All right, it's 1:02. We're gonna crank this thing up, so we'll call the meeting to order. And as always, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call. I can never get this straight. Do you do this or do I do this? Because Mig is on. Does that matter?
Either one, but I'm happy to do so, and we'll need to do the roll call votes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Go
So,
ahead.
Chairman Nelson,
Present.
Member Marnett,
Present?
Member Johnson,
Present?
Member Smith,
Present.
Member Gasca.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum, and we will note Member McKesson and Member Irvine absent. I'm sorry. Yes, both of them absent. Thank you.
Okay, so today we have, today we have a substantial agenda, I think. And we do not have a member of the board here today, right?
No.
No, we do not. Okay, that we can still continue. I just was noting that a board member is not present. So having done the roll call, seating of alternates, I don't think we need to seat alternates. We've got a quorum. Item 5, additions, deletions, amendments to the agenda.
We have none.
Anything from staff? Nothing?
We have none.
Okay, how about committee members? Anything to add to the agenda? Okay. Item 6, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Okay, moved by Julie, seconded by Rod. All those in favor,
Aye.
say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, agenda is approved.
Excuse,
Actually, I think there has to be a roll call vote.
What?
Roll call vote.
yes, excuse me. Can I start over? with-
Okay.
It's remote.
Oh, because he's remote, right?
Yes.
Mig, you're just causing problems again. You know that?
Yeah, life
Okay,
in a big
go ahead.
city.
Roll call vote.
Member Gasca,
Aye.
Member Nelson,
Aye.
Member Marnett,
Aye.
Member Johnson,
Aye.
Member Smith,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay, agenda has been unanimously approved. Yahoo. Public comment. Do we have any members of the public with us today?
We do, sir. We have one member.
Okay. All right, so I'll read item number 7 if I can. Better get my glasses. Item 7, public comment. Any person may address the committee at this time upon any subject not identified on this agenda, but within the jurisdiction of the Rainbow Municipal Water District. However, any matter that requires action will be referred to staff for a report and action at a subsequent meeting. As to matters on the agenda, an opportunity will be given to address the committee when the matter is considered. Members of the public may make comments by submitting a slip to the board secretary virtually or through virtual or teleconference options, or by submitting an email to Teresa's email address no less than 1 hour prior to the posted start of the meeting. Comments shall be made in an orderly manner, and profanity, slander, or abusive language which is disruptive to the meeting will not be tolerated. Individuals have a limit of 3 minutes to make comments and will have the opportunity when called upon by the presiding officer. And I guess now is the time when I ask, does any member of the public attending wish to make a comment on an item not on the agenda? Hearing none? Okay, we move on. Approval of minutes. All of you had an opportunity to review the minutes that Therese and her team put together from the last meeting. And are there any suggested changes or amendments to the minutes? And if not, I'm looking for a motion. No changes. Does anybody want to move adoption of the minute? Okay, Rod moves adoption. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Bob seconds. So is this a roll call too?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Member Gasca,
I don't believe I was here for that, so I'm going to say present.
Member Johnson.
I was not present, so abstain.
Okay. Member Smith,
Aye.
Member Marnet,
Aye.
Member Nelson,
Aye.
motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, motion carries. Minutes are approved. Item 9A, comments and requests, General Manager. Jake, that's you.
Okay, oh,
Corrected versions.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Corrected memo for item 12. When I get that four.
Oh, is that what we're on? My comments? Oh
Yep,
my
we're
goodness.
on your
Sorry, I
comments.
was, other things going on.
Were you zoning out there for a minute?
I was.
Okay,
Here, I
I
wanted,
have a question. Carly, what item number is this? Well, thank you.
I know our engineering manager and operations manager are going to give some comments on current projects and, you know, things we're working on. So I was going to update, we actually had an ad hoc meeting with, EMWD, which we have about quarterly. And they give us a lot of updates on what's going on at Met and things like that. So I was going to kind of highlight a few things. As many of you probably know, Met just hired a new general manager. Former IUA, because he started yesterday. IUA general manager Shivaji Deshmukh. Been at IUA since 2019, former AGM West Basin, and also long history with the Orange County Groundwater Project with OCWD. So lots of kind of broad experience, Inland Empire, kind of Inland Empire, Orange County, LA. So broad experience across the metropolitan area, which I think is a good thing. And so yeah, I think a unanimous vote by the board of directors, which I think is really positive, and an engineer. So I'm happy with that as well. But yeah, no, really good guy, and I think he'll be really good for Met. Gave an update on the crop swap program too. And so a couple things going on there. You know, we've had the crop swap program going on locally for the last couple of years. It's been wildly successful amongst our agricultural customers. We actually just opened up, and I may have updated you on this before, but so I apologize, but the board had approved an amendment to that contract, which actually led a whole bunch of more funding available to the regional partners, which includes us. So we think there's going to be about another $1 million to spend over the next year.
$1 million for Rainbow to spend or $1 million for multiple
across
jurisdictions?
Yeah, for all the agencies. Basically, Rancho hadn't spent their allocation, and so we only have about a year left to spend all that grant funding. Needs to get spent. Rainbow had a waiting list, about 20 projects, roughly maybe 350,000 in value. So those will likely all get funded, and probably beyond that as well. I believe Fallbrook had some waiting list, and also Valley Center as well. So all three of us will probably take the lion's share of that funding, plus any other projects that come in.
Did you say 350,000?
In a waiting list projects.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my guesstimate based on kind of the projects that were in there, but I've been pretty accurate with those things. And there's a lot more interest. That I've heard from a lot of our agricultural growers that kind of missed out on the first round for whatever reason, and are now interested. And I know there's a lot that did 5 acres or so in the first round that would be interested in doing more. So it's been a great program. What we've been trying to do is get the program, Metropolitan funds water conservation activities every single year. Fairly good size conservation budget, turf replacements, toilets, shower heads, all these different things that they do. And so, in concert with Rancho Water, we've been pushing for, that this is kind of like a turf replacement program for ag is kind of, it's kind of got a similar thing to it. And so would they consider adding this to the mix of available projects for funding? What we've got so far is they have an existing program called the Water Savings Incentive Program, WSIP. It's part of their whole Water Smart, that family of conservation projects. But it basically funds anything that saves water. And so what they've committed to is they would take our framework and place it under that Water Savings Incentive Program. It's not quite as lucrative or not quite as incentivized as our existing crop swap program. And it's got a little bit more red tape associated with it, just the program itself. And so we're still working on some of those things, but they've at least committed to, hey, we can start with this and then let's see how it goes and we can continue to move on. So we're working on that. Eastern has been very helpful in pushing that along and organizing those meetings and getting us in front of the right people and those kind of things. So very, very appreciative of that. Like I said, I think we could go through, our customers would do a lot more if the funding was available. So more to come on that, but that looks promising. At least at the Met angle, we're working on some other stuff too, maybe through the Farm Bill and some other things. State and federal lobbyist contract has come in handy with some of those things. Them getting in front of the right people to hopefully expand that program. But it's been very successful, and we'd like to keep it going with a kind of a evergreen funding source if we could get to it. They gave us an update on supply conditions. Metropolitan's got a lot of, starting the year with a ton of storage, 3.8 million acre feet, which is about what they started last year with. A little bit of caveat on that is if, some of their storage is in Lake Mead, and if Mead falls below a certain level, some of that is inaccessible for a time. But all in all, they're starting this water year with again, or kind of a record amount of storage. So, but some concerns on the Colorado side. I'll get to that in a minute. They're still going through what they call their Camp for Water process. One of the big things there is they're analyzing a lot of water supply projects, and there's a lot of action that's going to be coming over the next year, 2 years, decisions that they're going to have to make on which projects to go and which projects don't go. Probably the nearest term one will be the Sites Reservoir, which got an infusion of funding from the state, from the Prop 1 funding. I think one of the projects dropped out. They allocated some of that funding towards sites. So that one's the furthest along. Metropolitan has a pretty heavy share in that, so it's a pretty heavy cost commitment as well. If they continue, that'll probably be the first decision point for Met, but they've got a lot more. Pure Water, Southern California, the Delta Conveyance Project, all these different programs. The thing I like is at least they are including these in their financial models for budgeting, right? They're going through their next 2-year budget, and so they're putting kind of the impacts if we continue each of these projects. What are those rate impacts for going forward? What trickles down to Rainbow, right? Which is our imported water purchases. They did put out some initial budget projections for the next 2 years, 12 and 6%, and that's just keeping 12% in 27, 6% in 28, and that's just the status quo. None of these big projects moving forward. Then they have a whole table below that shows if we move forward on this, those kind of impacts. And they are significant. You talk about, with nothing else, the long term is kind of between 4 and 6%. We go with all these projects and it's between 9 and 22. So there's huge cost impacts to them moving forward with all these projects. But they are taking, I think, a decent, methodical approach to what they're doing. probably the biggest one that's gonna, or the biggest, the most controversial is probably gonna be the Pure Water project. You actually need to build the Pure Water project. That's that's gonna be the big one, which, you know, San Diego is going through that right now.
Is that a big ticket item?
It is a big ticket item. It is. Yeah, and they're even you know, they're talking about staging it and things like that, but it's billions. I think the last estimate was 9 billion net of grants. So yeah, huge project. So that's good. They had a lot on that. They did cover the Colorado River negotiations. So lower basin, upper basin states are mired in some negotiations. I don't know how much negotiations are actually going on right now, but there's supposed to be a deadline, November 11th, for them to develop a consensus alternative. That's not too long from now. So and I haven't seen anything yet. So so we'll see how that goes. But that's actually one of the biggest concerns for Met, because they are kind of lower tier. You know, they're the junior water rights in California, and so you know, California's kind of played it strong so far. We're hoping they continue that. But there is some concern there that, you know, Met takes a lion's share. You know, they've already asked, or they've already committed to a pretty large curtailment, right? They've actually already implemented. They're only taking 800,000 acre feet or so of their about 1 million acre foot allotment. But there's a potential for a couple 100,000 more that we're not sure where that's going to go, depending on how, you know, kind of how everything shakes out. It does seem like there is, I don't know, it's kind of like if you're watching the federal government shutdown, you know, there's rumors of things going on, but it does seem like some of the upper basin states, Utah in particular, is at least publicly saying, yeah, we need to come to the table and come up with a solution. We'll see what actually happens. But November 11th is actually that first deadline. That was kind of the Bureau saying, hey, we need a consensus alternative so we can move on with environmental and get this thing implemented by, it expires in 26. So they need to have it implemented by, you know, water year 27, which is a year away. So rapidly approaching. But lots of concern there, lots of activity there, and I think everybody's watching closely, including us. You know, that's a big supply issue for us.
If we have so much storage, if we have so much water out there, why is this a big issue for us?
Because it changes very rapidly. The Colorado, you know, that happens a little more over time, right? But it's been in decline over time, right? Over allocated, 20 plus years of drought, you know, declining conditions. I mean, and I think I've said this before in some of these committee and board meetings, you need a good decade on the Colorado to get, you know, to
Back
get
up.
any meaningful, on the state side, things are really good right now, right? You've had a couple good years up north, even though it was dry down here last year. You had another average year up north, and then the year before that was gangbusters, right? We overflowed the year before, but it only takes a dry year and threat of a second, and your state, the state is just so much more fickle. They just don't have the same amount of storage. And it just, you know, you get one bad snowpack year and you really decline on that side. So that's why everybody's kind of always on edge. So, you know, kind of fearing the worst. And we've seen where it's happened 2-3 years in a row. And it gets a little dire, right? Not knowing where the end is in sight. And again, the last time it happened, we got saved by kind of a miracle winter. What was that, 23?
23.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of it was looking dry again. The beginning of the year was looking dry again, and everybody was really concerned about where that was headed.
Well, the other thing,
Yeah.
Pat, is on the Colorado River, as was said, if Met were to take water out of the Colorado River today, given what the rules are, they have to return it next year.
Yeah.
That's not something that's like a loan you're taking out on your house. You're sort of like refinancing your house, but you got to repay starting next year. Now, if it goes further down, which many people, including the Bureau, anticipate it will be, you can have all the theoretical water in the world in Lake Mead. You can't take it until it recovers.
Yeah.
And that gets to Jake's point. We need a lot of water coming from the upper basin to get that. So in many ways, that is in the short term illusionary. If you go up north, and by the way, I studied this for a living. If you look at north, Met has water and storage all around the Central Valley, but they have limitations on how much they can take in a year. So it's also important to look at what your take rights are. What happened in 2022, before the atmospheric rivers, a lot of people are trying to take the water out of storage in the Central Valley. And it found out, son of a gun, it's not working like we thought it did. People were unable to take out as much as their rights said they could. So,
Lots of challenges.
yeah, there's a
Lots of
lot of
challenges.
challenges. And in water world, the details will kill you.
Sounds very complicated. I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, it is.
Thank
And that was pretty much it. That was it for the Met updates, but it is helpful. We you know, we get those quarterly, and you know, a lot of alignment on, you know, Eastern and our interests. And so it is helpful for us, those updates. So I'll share them every once in a while with you guys, but that's all I got today.
Okay. Well, that was good. Thank you. Next we have Chad with engineering and CIP comments. You got anything for us,
Yeah,
Chad?
we got quite a few actually. So an update on the Eagles Perch waterline pipeline replacement. We are nearing 100% design. We are going to have that area resurveyed. There's some existing utility easements, and Rainbow isn't named explicitly in those easements. So we're going to have it resurveyed. And we're working with a firm who specializes in right-of-way acquisition to see if we can install the proposed water lines within those easements, or do we need some easement acquisition? So that project is moving along really nicely. The La Cañada pipeline replacement project, operations is going to do that in-house. Robert's going to dive deeper on this one, but we were able to deliver 60% design plans. We didn't have to take this all the way to bid ready, just enough for our crews to do that. And then Robert's going to talk more about the La Cañada pipeline replacement. The Gopher pump station, pump skid, this is up at the Turner tank. Our as-built and working with Dexter Wilson on design, things weren't lining up. So Bernie and the construction crew went out there and conducted some potholing so we can get that actual field verified data back to the design engineer. So that project is coming along really well. The county continues to struggle on Camino del Rey. This is where we might have senior rights. They might have senior rights, but they are working with existing property owners and obtaining easements for that project, which is okay for us because we don't have to move our pipeline until they actually go. And then the Morrow tank rehabilitation, we've been monitoring this project for a little over a year now. We met
The
with
settlement issue?
the settlement issue.
Got it.
And so there was just a on-site meeting with our structural engineer, our land surveyor, and our geotech firms, along with district personnel. That was on Friday. And we're finalizing all of the data, and we will have a recommendation for Q1 of 2026 to bring to this committee first, but then ultimately to the board. The consensus thus far is there is a issue under the ground. It was not properly compacted when it was done, and it was the wrong soil type. This is a very expansive clay type soil. And so regardless of the integrity of the tank, the problem is below the tank. And so what is the recommendation? Is it over excavation, export, import? How much? Building a new tank, working with operations, how big does it need to be?
When was that tank put in?
That tank was put in, I might have that on. I don't have that handy.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Is it like more of a legacy project or a relatively newer project?
It's been there for quite some time.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
the tank has been there a while. And when
Where I'm
Robert,
going on the question is, this is the second time on a project, I'm in shock at how, you know, what, like, 11-year-old pipeline busted. You know, I was a little surprised last meeting. Now I'm hearing we have a project where we didn't understand the soils and a few other.
No, it's probably 50 years old. I mean,
I'm glad to hear. That's why I'm glad to hear it's a legacy project.
1967.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
65 years old, yeah.
I'd been more concerned if it was 5 years ago.
No, not on our watch.
Yeah.
So we're working on
Because I
that.
trust you guys will check your soil.
Yes, yes. And so with that, we'll not only the recommendation of the rehabilitation, but some cost estimates to do that as well.
Well, I saw you've got the only yellow in your as needed was
Was at
for,
that site.
for the site, and that's for the continued mobilization of work to
That was for
figure
the
out what's
geotech.
going on.
Yep,
Yep,
that's
got it.
correct.
Yep.
Mm.
Okay.
So working on that one, because I think in our 5-year CIP, there's like a couple $100,000, and this will be a multi-million-dollar project.
Right.
Should we go? So where does that plug into?
Mhm.
Let's see what else we have. The line NN pipeline. This is the emergency project under Highway 76. Lots of progress going on that one. We meet weekly with Hazen and our geotechnical consultant Leighton, operations, engineering, general manager, all hands on deck on that. Got an update this morning, and so we're progressing on that.
I have a stupid question,
Oh, sure,
a Flint question.
sure.
As I drive up and down the 76, I see your temporary line,
High
the
line.
blue pipe.
Mhm.
What? Why wouldn't we attempt to take the temporary installation and take the necessary steps to convert it into a permanent installation and save ourselves a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of heartache by converting the temporary to a permanent? I notice there are some right turns that you probably would want to bow out and do a few things to, but I haven't gone back there and tramped around, but I'm just curious, why do we need to replace at 18 feet under the ground? Why do we need to do that?
You want me to take that one? Do you want to take that one?
Well, there are a lot of challenges, and that's been, obviously that's a discussion. We took a look at the different alternatives, for replacing this thing. We installed that as a, emergency temporary solution. That pipeline is installed in an existing waterway, which would likely not be permittable.
Okay.
It's through an existing animal crossing and waterway.
Ooh.
Again, it's above grade, and we tucked it against the side the best we could and those kind of things, but we did it as an emergency. We have no other option kind of a thing. And
If
so,
we did it below grade, what if we converted that line below grade?
yeah, you still can't go within the waterway. It just,
Okay.
yeah,
No, no.
Okay.
yeah.
All
I
right.
don't want them going to jail.
Well, and the old,
Question
the
answered.
old alignment is where the district's easement is.
Mhm. Got it. Okay. Question answered. Thank you.
There you go.
Just wanted to ask.
We have, I was telling the general manager, we don't normally go into our developer projects, but we do have item 12 on today's agenda. And there is the developer progression specifically at the Havens, which is formerly Bonzel Oaks, the Polo Club. North River Farms, which is technically not in Rainbow's jurisdiction. However, that's where our sewer outfall is with the city of Oceanside. And so that city of Oceanside's development project has affected the district. A lot of staff time spent on that project, and the Ocean Breeze Ranch project, formerly Vessels Ranch, specifically why item 12 is on our agenda today.
Yeah, those projects have been hot.
Greatly.
It's hard to get the complete pulse on what's going on with the developers, but there does seem to be some, they're very eager to get things going now. In Ocean Breeze Ranch, so that's kind of the big one. That's the 400 units on Vessels, and just kind of right this way, or actually kind of that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That property actually did sell. I saw, they had a builder that was interested, but it was, a $70 million, $75 million investment. And they have I think the majority of the entitlements and everything. So they're looking to get started, potentially before the end of the year, I think was what they were shooting for. It's probably spill into first quarter, I would guess. But that one looks like it's a go. And so they've been heavy on water, sewer, getting everything in line. Obviously they need water for grading. And so we're working on some agreements and things to, kind of, take.
They're putting up buildings at the speed of light over there on North River Road.
Yeah.
Those, yeah, that one's been going for a while. Again, that's City of Oceanside, but it does impact, they had to extend their sewer, so it actually got rid of some of our sewer, which is a good thing for the district, but they have to relocate our metering station, which is our big involvement in that, as well as some other ancillary things that come with relocating sewers and things like that. But I guess, yeah, to kind of reiterate Chad's point, because I've been involved at some level, just those 3 projects, and we've got some other things happening as well, smaller stuff. The activity has been heavy for probably what, 6 months?
6 months.
Yeah, really 6 months now on some, pretty sizable projects for us. So good. I think it's a good thing long term. It'll do some good for the district, but it's sometimes it's a struggle to get through, those. They're worried about cost and schedule, and we're worried about good infrastructure, right? And so those things sometimes compete a little bit. So, but good team. I mean, but between Chad and the support we get from Ardura, things are moving pretty well.
And in this stage of plan check where they're trying to get their final maps recorded with the County of San Diego, we're here. Once they go into construction, the contractor might have some questions. It'll really slow back down, but until they get that final map recorded and start grading and building, we're just in a very hot zone right now.
Okay,
So that's my updates.
okay. Operations?
2 updates for you. So, La Cañada, we installed 1 pressure regulating station at La Cañada and Via Montserrat. We activated that station and we dropped the pressure on La Cañada, and we also looped it around up to Bridlewood. So we dropped the pressure in that neighborhood by 60 PSI. So that should help us in the meantime while we get the new line installed. The crew is working on the pressure station down at Hillrise in La Cañada right now. Hopefully in a couple of weeks, we'll have that one up, and that'll be about one at the top of the hill. We met last week internally as a team, and we're meeting every 2 weeks. So we have customer outreach as part of that team, engineering as part of the team, and then operations as part of the team. So once we get done with the pressure station, we're going to be placing an order for all the pipe and material that we're going to need for the job. We're working on getting permits, encroachment permits from the county, and customer outreach is going to be, there's only 11 homeowners on that street. So we'll be reaching out to them directly, letting them know what's going on. We're going to put a couple signs up on each end of the street there so people know what's going on. And once we get the materials in, get our encroachment permits approved and the county's ready to go, then we'll let everybody know the time frame when we're going to start. Right now, I don't know, because we're kind of leaning on the county at this point, like get us those permits. We do have the 60% design plan, so we can shove that their way when they ask for that. So we're moving, we're getting there.
Good.
Construction, I think, is going to start sometime in winter, but I don't know specifically which month. So December, January, we'll have a better time frame when we're going to start laying pipe. But we'll get to it. The other update I had was Bob had asked a few meetings back, maybe the last one, which was several months ago, I think, for an update on our meter exchanges from the meters that we saw that were decoupling. So we originally identified about just over 500 meters or so that had this issue. We exchanged about 364 of them. The balance, what we found, were for various reasons were not broken. So grows got cut down, meters were locked, people wanted their meter locked off or whatever. So a variety of reasons. But we went out and looked, see what's going on. Since then, Ahmed, our billing specialists, have worked and correct me if I'm wrong, but in IPS, which is our billing software, it will flag accounts where there's like a 0 read. So when we go out and read the meters, if it comes up as a 0 read, and I talked to our billing specialist about this yesterday, she says she gets about 500 discrepancies every month. And so she goes through those to deconflict them. And is it a 0 read because it was locked off? Is it a 0, all this stuff. And then what we do is we send she said about 50 a cycle. We have 3 cycles, so reading cycles. sends those out to the meter readers and says, hey, there's about 50 of these. I need you to go look and see what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. There's something goofy with these reads. It's not adding up. So we have the system in place that's kind of working, and we do catch the one-offs, the meter skipping. Okay, let's go ahead and replace that. So it seems like we've gotten ahead of that curve finally. But yeah, it took some time, and
So,
And this is kind of sorry, this is kind of the interesting part of this whole advanced metering, right? I mean, we have AMR, so these guys are able to collect reads really quickly. AMI, which just comes over the network, right? So you can just do meter reads without even going out there. But the funny thing is, it still takes, I came from a district that had AMI, full AMI, so nobody was going out taking meter reads. We had a full-time person just managing the data that was coming in, right? Managing the data and doing just that exact same thing. And so same thing here, like it's great. You reduce all this meter reading time down to just a couple of days.
Couple of days down.
Yeah, you can do the whole district and fantastic efficiency there, but it doesn't come without its, there's still those things that you've got to do. So, yeah.
so do you think, Robert, that we're done buying replacement meters?
no, we'll always buy replacement.
Well, I mean, for the faulty one or the ones that,
For the majority, yeah, for that I call it
That hiccup.
right? Yeah, that hiccup. Yeah, exactly. We're
No.
always buying meters, right? For
Right.
new homes being constructed, somebody
understand.
drives over a meter.
I understand that.
we
I
always
guess I
have-
should have said, are we done replacing the problem meters that we had from the replacement
Yeah.
project?
Yes.
Okay,
At bulk.
all right,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Do we have adequate digital spares that you
Mhm.
bought to add on?
Yep. We keep an inventory in the warehouse. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Has any thought gone into utilizing AI for any of this labor intensive work? Is there any training out there that's being discussed?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. Because I'm going to refer you to Ahmed. He's giving me the stink eye. He was
No, our major worry with AI till today was that anything that we feed the AI model with
Mhm.
becomes public to everyone
Mhm.
else. So if anybody wanted to look at the data that we've been feeding AI with, they would have the ability to, right? And the reason that I was saying till not today, but like the last couple of months, we've been looking at AI that's available to our agency,
Mhm.
and any data that we feed into that model does not become available to
Mhm.
the public. That's a more safer approach that we've
Mhm.
been doing, and we've been experimenting
Okay.
2-3 months with that.
Yeah.
So we'll get started with case scenarios of how we can.
Okay, good. It's just, I value the fact that Rainbow is looking into this as a technology and advancement to support. So thank you.
That should be something that's solvable. Straticon has its own AI. And our vendor said, do you want to, can we use it to help train our model?
Mhm.
And I said, no. Because a lot of my stuff is confidential.
Mhm.
So the point is, this is a problem that's been solved in the industry.
Yes, the ones that we trust to do that for us have been made available for us in the last 3 months.
Right, okay.
Okay, well, that's going to be interesting. Just to continue our discussion. So thank you.
There is always the skeptical question. Do we trust that they're saying is true? That's a different question.
And that's where we verify the output of the AI against human analysis.
Right.
To verify that what AI is telling us on a,
Right.
subsample, and then run it on the whole
Right.
data set.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Robert? You done?
done.
All right, item 9D, committee member comments. Julie?
I've already asked my comment.
Okay. Rodney, got anything?
Well, just that, since this is the second meeting where we've had some unexpected problems. And these, as I said earlier, I was glad this was a legacy project. To what extent have you had the time or resources to try to figure out what's the extent of our risk of our legacy? And what is our legacy issues? Is it
Mm.
3% everything out there? Is it 50% out there?
Yeah.
That may have an implication for your capital plan.
Oh, it most certainly does.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously our biggest risks are the things we can't see,
Exactly.
the 350 miles it's buried.
Right.
And we do have, we did a kind of a risk analysis. It was an asset management plan on our buried assets several years ago that spat out kind of our highest risk, highest consequence of failure, kind of, and those are the pipeline replacements and things that we're moving forward on.
Right.
It is always changing, as leaks continue to happen and things continue to, things just always evolve. But I think we do have, and this was a question I think that came, I don't know if it was the last E&O meeting, budget and finance, I can't remember, but just, do you feel we have a good handle on those projects that we have in there? I mean, we've got 40 million or so in our capital improvement program over the next 5 years. And I think 85% of it is replacement and
Right.
rehab.
Yeah.
And so I think we have, I think, pretty well identified our most vulnerable items. The tank project, that has been something that's been something that's been over the last couple of years we've been looking at, but we've been doing monitoring and things
Right.
like that to verify, do we actually have a problem? Yeah, I think we do. It's not imminent. It's not going to fall off the side of the hill.
Right.
But
Hopefully.
yeah. But I think there has been quite a bit of work done, and even just in the last couple of years, to really refine that list of the projects that we absolutely have got to prioritize. And but there's going to be an unending list, right? There's no doubt we're behind on our
We've
replacement
had
program.
Decades where we did no
Yeah.
Right.
replacement
Right.
work, and now we're paying that price.
And we're not alone in that. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
well, no.
yeah,
No.
right. But
You're not alone in that at all.
But you're absolutely right. And we're actually looking at some kind of strategic ways to get that done, whether it's, do we continue to consult everything, or do we bring certain activities in house, whether that's design, construction, different districts do it different ways. I think we're looking at that. I think we're going to have a nice comparison when we do Eagles Perch. We're going to contract that out, and we're going to build an in-house La Cañada. So kind of taking a look at that. Some things we're talking about with our neighboring districts on potential shared services in that same arena. So a lot. It is probably our primary focus right now is really that program. It's
Just one follow-up question. You said there was a risk assessment done, quote, years ago. Quote.
2018, not that long ago.
But son of a gun, it's almost 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And so the question would be, how many unexpected events have you had since 2018?
Well, I mean, the pipeline breakup here was one of the bigger
Right,
ones.
yeah, right. But I mean,
to
just
be-
wondering because, maybe you have enough to say how predictive was the risk of 2018 as we look at
Yeah.
where our unexpecteds were to give you an assessment of the tool.
Yeah, over the last 7 years, and we track every leak. Every
Oh, no,
break.
I know you do
Yeah.
that, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, you may want to feed back and
Mhm.
it's sort of a do loop to see if you
We're
got
gonna
the
let
right tool.
we're gonna let a med feed the AI that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Well, that's part of
Absolutely.
that got me
So,
going on that.
Yeah, that's good.
That is much easier to do with AI than the old way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Anything else,
That's it.
Bob?
Well, I'm just wondering, did you want to consider putting that as a goal for in the next year or two to revisit that, fine tune the 2018 study?
Yeah, and I think
Not don't
And I
stop
think-
everything you're doing, but
right. And I think that as part of the master planning effort, that was part of that too, that we were going to kind of incorporate a lot of that data and let it inform, because that's going to be really the prioritization of our capital improvements.
Right.
Will be part of that. So
Mhm.
I think over the next couple of years that will get integrated into that.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. So now we move on.
Just real quick, I've got an item, but I put it on the agenda, so.
All right, Mig, I ignored you. My bad.
That's okay.
Sorry.
He's item 14.
Yeah, I would note that Jamie Milani, who's involved with what I'll be talking about from county, is online. So she's here to address any questions you might have at that time.
Maybe we move that up.
Move. Which,
Item 14.
you want to move that up?
Well, if we have someone waiting online.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, we can do that. We'll call item 14 next. Discussion.
Okay. Well, thank you for that suggestion and move up. Let's see, I guess about a month and a half ago, I'd gotten a letter from the county, from Jamie, and it involves CSA 13, which is like a county service area. And within county service area 13 is Wilt Road and a number of other roads, including Sumac, which is the road that comes off of Palamesa and drops down south onto the 76. And currently that's not accessible, or it's restricted because of I think a landslide that kind of impacted the road. And so there's limited access, especially from a fire standpoint. Okay. What Jamie and her people did was a presentation that was held at the county library. We have our CSA is a I think 1954 CSA, and so we're grandfathered, and the county sets money aside based on the number of lots that we have. And right now there's a fund of about 100,000, and there's about 5 million in different projects, road maintenance, some other infrastructure, culverts under the roads, and that sort of thing. And one of the things that I noted when we had our discussion was that specific CSA that she manages, along with all the other CSAs up here in North County, a lot of them fall within our district. Okay, some of them fall within Fallbrooks, probably Vista, wherever. But our particular interest, I think, what I brought up was we have projects where we're going to tear up the road, we're going to replace pipe. I think it would be incumbent upon us, for the betterment of the community, to have staff interface with Jamie and her crowd, and understand what projects they have that might take place or that are a priority, and that we might be doing work on that same road. Because there's nothing worse to a community than for a new road to have gone in, and then for the water district to tear it up to put in a new line. Okay. And there's a lot of synergy that we can have with them. They go through a process where they're just project engineers. Okay. They go to County Road to get design work done, and they kind of manage the project. They got help to do the management of the budget and hiring the construction contractors and that sort of thing. If there's synergies where, in that regard, where their project can be lumped in with our work, then they're going to stretch the dollars more, and they'll get more done, in my CSA, but in all the other CSAs. And so with that kind of intro, I'd ask, Jamie, if she would just give us a few words and, advise at how best to interface with her and her crowd.
Hi, thank you, Meg. Just a little sound check. Can everybody hear me?
Yep, I'm good.
Fantastic. So, thank you for that introduction, Meg. I'll just introduce myself. I'm Jamie Melanie. I'm program manager for the PRLM program here at the County of San Diego. We manage, among other things, the PRD program. And so that is what Meg is referring to. PRD stands for Permanent Road Division, and it's the new moniker that was assigned in the 90s for the old CSAs. So the CSAs that existed at the time were converted into to PRDs. And so that's the unit that we administer in Mixed Community and in many other communities in Fallbrook. We manage about 100 miles of roads through that program across the county in 67 different districts. So I could get you a list of the ones that are up in Rainbow if that was of interest to the committee. I want to, thank Meg for the invitation today. Certainly there is nothing worse to a community than putting in a new road and having it torn up, right? Vice versa, either direction, right? Nobody wants to see those resources, those very precious resources on both sides utilized inefficiently. And so I'd be very happy to, work with the committee to coordinate projects or to understand, maybe lay out a pathway where we could, give some advance notice or work together to make sure that we're providing the best value that we can for the communities that we administer. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm really here to listen and, provide support and provide answers if you have questions, but wanted to make myself introduced to the committee and just let you know that, we're here to work with you and would be happy to coordinate on any type of road related projects for our PRD areas.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Of course.
My name's Rick Carey. The county just finished the Gopher Canyon Road. They're resurfacing. I've talked to Ghirardelli, I think is your field supervisor, where El Paseo meets Gopher Canyon. There's a strip that's a no man's land that's got a rainbow shutoff valve for a fire hydrant. This is just a fluke that you're here today. The San Diego County Water Authority did an overlay and they've skipped this area that's 4 feet wide. It's now turning into a V ditch. So as trucks leave El Paseo to go onto Gopher Canyon, they're gouging the new surface. I've followed up with Ghirardelli for 3 months now. I got the name of a county engineer, but maybe you're the right person to talk to from the top down and address this before the work that was just done continues to get damaged. Thank you. And I'll get your contact information from somebody here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Sure. I'm happy to share my contact information for the record. I can have, share that with the committee, or I can tell you now, my email is jamie.milani, MILANI @sdcounty.ca.gov. So that can go into the meeting minutes and feel free to share that with the people in the room. As far as Gopher Canyon Road, I'm not the right person to talk to, unfortunately. So the program that I am talking about specifically administers this 100 miles of roads that are in this PRD program. So it's a very specific subset of roads for the county. The roads that we manage in the PRD program are private roads. They're not county maintained roads. And so those county maintained roads are managed by another department. I'm happy to try and, connect you to those folks that manage those roads and, get those concerns raised to the right people. I'm happy to try and facilitate that for you, but that's managed outside of my program.
Thank you. El Paseo is private, and this is one of my challenges, is trying to get to the right person.
Right.
We need to do that better.
Yeah, and I know our staff works pretty closely with the county, Robert and his team in particular. But it is really important. I think it would be helpful. Usually when we're doing pipeline projects, they do happen over the course of a couple of years. So we do know they're coming. And so I think that's kind of the synergy that we need, is if we know that road projects are coming and pipeline projects are coming, obviously that's really important. And I'll just throw one thing out there. And I thought this was kind of a little bit innovative. it was a negotiated thing that that I was involved with before, but very similar where we had a road program that was administered by a city, is in this case, and but we had several water line projects, and we had quarterly meetings where we just talked about projects, and so hey, this is coming up, and a couple that overlaid, and we ended up, what we did was they waited till we went, so pipeline went first. We did normally the trench, the trench and overlay and all that, pretty strict requirements on that. What we would do was just kind of a basic, trench overlay. And then when they were ready to come in with their paving project, they would come in and do the entire road, which they were going to have to do anyway.
Right.
Right. We would, because we were saving on our trench, we're saving on our trench repair. We would commit to, hey, that grind and overlay, we would cover the unit costs associated with the area that we impacted, right? What that did was basically the district money went into the city to offset their cost overall, costs that they were going to incur anyways. For us, it was cheaper because we got the benefit of the unit cost of a much larger project.
Right.
And so, yeah, that was something it got no publicity or anything like that. But I thought when we got to the end of it, I was like, wow, that's actually a really good way to do things. But the biggest thing is knowing 2 years in advance that something's coming, right? That's almost kind of the lead up we almost need to kind of get those things coordinated. So I think the coordination on our end probably would be, what do you have in the next year, the next 2 years? What are the county's plans in these areas? And I think that would be really, really good information for us to kind of, tie those two things together, because we will be doing a lot of pipeline replacements.
Yeah.
So Jake, who's the right interface on your staff for Jamie? And
It would be Chad Williams, our CIP program manager.
okay.
So we'll have to get those together and
I know that when
compare lists.
Yeah. I know that when I was managing a lot of capital projects up in San Francisco, we basically had, they may have even passed an ordinance, but when the city was going to tear up a street, we had to let all of the adjacent utilities know that was going to happen. And they were told that if you have anything that you want to get done to the street or under the street or around the street, you need to dovetail it with the project that we're going to be prosecuting. And because we're not going to let you open the street for 10 years. Okay. And so you get it now or you're not going to get it for a while. And I just assume, Chad, that we may not be living under a 10-year rule, but I'm assuming that you guys are pretty well set on trying to notify any of the municipalities where we're putting a big project in place and tearing up a street, so that we get their permission to tear up the street, and they, on the other hand, have the opportunity to go in and make any improvements or redo the street if they see necessary. Do we do that now?
We do. So,
Okay.
And I have a couple examples. We got the county's overlay list, Robert, that's about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's Nella Lane off of Gopher Canyon was on their overlay list. We had a project that was 3 years out on Nella Lane. The moratorium was going to be about 5 to 10 years. So we
Moved it forward.
We got in before them, and we actually didn't have to do the paving because the county was going to do the paving anyway. So it actually saved the district money.
Right.
And then my favorite county project, the Rainbow Water Quality Improvement Project.
It has nothing to do with rainbow water quality.
Thank you, Jake. It has nothing.
Or improvement. Yeah.
Why is my favorite the biggest irony named project ever? Anyhow, same thing. We got with the county, Robert, our operations crew, Bernie. There's a lot of collaboration and coordination on that as well.
Right.
So yeah, just a
Good.
collaboration, order of magnitude.
Right.
Everybody saves some money and some time.
Good.
I appreciate Meg though bringing this, kind of putting a focus on these private,
Right.
the more private
Right.
areas, right? Gopher Canyon, those kind of things
That's
get
a
a lot,
county road.
get
Yeah.
a lot of headline,
Yep.
but making sure we don't tear up these private roads
Right.
too. Yeah.
I do have one more question for Jamie, and that's, okay, so there's county roads, there's you that's handling 100 miles of private roads, is there another U? Is there some other road area that we just haven't talked about that's out there?
Not to my knowledge, Meg.
Okay.
So there's county roads. Those are in the county maintained road system. They have a specific definition.
Okay.
And then there's private roads. And private roads, you know, are generally managed under the California Streets and Highways Code, is sort of the governing rule book for those private roads. And they are more commonly managed privately. So either through HOAs or, you know, just neighbors kind of chipping in when the road needs work and they sort of figure it out. When neighborhoods want assistance with that process, they can arrange for the county to administer their roads for them through this PRD program. And so that's the subset of private roads that we manage. And that's essentially where the county's acting as a contractor on behalf of the private citizens. We collect monies specifically from those communities, and then we spend those monies to, for the betterment of the roads. So that is the sort of organizational structure. And that's why, the roads that are in my program wouldn't show up on the county overlay or, the other things that maybe Rainbow Municipal is commonly used to working with, because they're not county road projects. They're administered by the county, but they're really private road projects. And so, we'd be happy to be in the room or be on a mailing list or, get you a separate overlay list of projects that we have moving forward so that we can communicate those to the betterment of the community.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Is there any further discussion on this item? If not, Jamie, thank you for coming to our meeting. We appreciate it very much that you're here. We'll get your contact info and we'll be in touch as we progress with our program. Okay?
Of course, that sounds great. I am going to drop off the call, but thank you for your time today. I appreciate your invitation to the meeting.
You
Thanks
bet.
a lot,
Thank
Jamie.
you.
Have a
Thank you,
great day.
Dick, for thinking of that and getting it going.
Yes, sir.
Let's
Bye.
move on to item number 10, board action updates. This is where Chad tells us what the board did with items that we acted on in a prior meeting. How'd we do, Chad?
Well, we didn't have a couple meetings
Right,
beforehand,
right.
so, and it was light. We're in kind of that deep review phase right now. But at the October board meeting, there was one engineering item, and that was for a community called Rancho Alegre. It's off of Reche Road. And we needed to ratify their second amendment and authorize the execution of the third amendment, which was passed, and the general manager has since executed both amendments.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 11. Consider award of 3 agreements for as-needed construction management and inspection services. And is this you?
Yep.
Okay, go.
So this, typically we do these every 3 to 5 years. However, we kind of balancing the books as needed. Sometimes disciplines or firms within a discipline are spending more money than others. And so we'll rebalance and bring that to the board via change order. And in this case, under the construction management and inspection disciplines, there was 3 existing firms, 2 of which were just non-responsive to all the district requests. One of which, Valley Construction Management, was responsive on everything, but was just getting a bit burdened. So we actually decided to go out with a new RFP. We issued that RFP on Planet Bids. We received 9 proposals. Staff reviewed the proposals and narrowed it down to the 3 most qualified firms, which we listed in the staff report. Those firms are New City Consulting Incorporated, Engineering Resources of Southern California Incorporated, and Golden State Consultants. And so this is being requested by the committee, a recommendation to the board, and ultimately will be brought to the December board meeting for their consideration and hopefully approval. If it is approved by the board, we would terminate the 3 existing contracts with the firms, and we would award 3 new on-call as-needed professional services firms. And this is the same as Clint's looking at the spreadsheet right now, but this is the same as all. This is up to $150,000. There's no cost impact because this is already allocated in our CIP budgets. And so this is, what we call a pass-through. But that's what we're looking for on this, to get some new blood in here and some new firms.
Yeah, and just kind of piggyback on that, you know, what these things are really helpful to us. More for smaller projects. If we've got a large construction project, you know, we've gone out to specific RFP and asked for a specific scope. But when we have kind of these smaller needs, it's just not cost effective or efficient to over and over ask for, you know, 4 firms prepare proposals, and it's very expensive for the firms to do that as well. So that's why we kind of go through this pre-qualifying thing where we get set rates and those kind of things. It and just makes it really efficient for both the staff and the consultant. And again, typically for smaller projects, you know, sub 50,000, sub 25,000 to assist with, you know, our projects that are going, our needs that are going on. So that's really the idea behind it.
So it's really an execution of the as needed strategy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if there's no further discussion, I move it.
I have a couple questions.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just reading the as needed report, and the firms that you're saying that were unresponsive were Acrostic and Ardura. Is that correct?
Yeah, we worked with Acrostic for a while.
Because I think I see that we authorized 100,000 for them. Is that right?
We did initially, we did not utilize all of those funds though.
Did we utilize any of those?
We did use some, yeah, that was when,
Because I don't see it
one
here.
of our senior project managers,
47,000 we used.
I don't know the exact number off.
I'm just looking at this number here.
Sure. But yeah, when a senior project manager, left the district, rather, we tried backfilling that position, we didn't. We brought in Acrostic to try and fill that void. Ultimately, between Malik Tamimi, our other project manager, and myself, we were able to do it in-house.
All right. And so, and then Valley CM, they're going to basically use up most of their ceiling.
They're getting very close. They're helping us out on the manual transfer switch project, and
Yep.
then on our senior inspectors, PTO, their inspector covers those right now.
Okay. And then as I mentioned to Jake earlier, my other concern is I understand that 3 contracts with a ceiling of 150,000 is 450,000. I understand that we are not planning on spending
Correct.
450,000. I get that. Is there any point at which we are going to consider hiring a person that can come in, and they may not be able to cover all of our needs, but they could cover some of our needs? They could also begin to learn about our district and learn about our projects and become a long-term CM resource for us. I don't know, that probably would become one of Robert's boys, I'm guessing. But it just seems to me that when we look at the amount of money that we continue to shell out to consultants, whether it's in dribs and drabs or in larger bundles, why can't we bring some of that work in-house?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we, you know, if our CIP is at a level where, you know, we're executing, you know, 10-15 million dollars worth of projects, I would think that might be warranted. I mean, if you're, you know, you're talking about bringing in a highly qualified construction manager, because we have an inspector that handles a lot of our, you know, the daily inspection needs and things like that. You know, you're talking about a couple $100,000 employee every year, full benefits, you know, CalPERS and those kind of things. So I think, and our CIP to date has been a little, you know, cyclic. I'll call it cyclic, where, you know, we probably didn't have 100%, you know, fill out a position like that at 100%. If we do see, you know, our CIP continues to accelerate and we have that, I think that's something to consider. I think what we're talking about here, though, are pretty low dollar levels that probably wouldn't even approach that kind of salary, let alone the benefits and other
Then we
costs.
wouldn't have to hire the most expensive person on the block if the work that we're doing is not the most expensive work on the block, right? If we're needing $20,000 worth of CM services,
Mhm.
that's probably a fairly small project that is doing fairly routine work. And
Possibly, yeah.
why couldn't we bring in a person at a lower pay grade that is able to handle some of that work and learn and grow?
Yeah.
And we pay to grow rather than pay to keep consultants floating.
Yeah.
That's,
And-
that's,
and- yeah.
that's my concern.
And I think, you know, and we've been talking over the years about,
Mhm.
the potential for bringing a
Mhm.
young engineer or it doesn't have to be young. I'm not gonna, no age discrimination. Be old, mid-age, whatever.
Let's drop the age, Jay.
But if we don't bring people in,
Yeah,
even
no,
at an early stage, at a young part, at a beginning part of their career.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna be doing capital projects for a long time,
I do.
long time.
Yeah, I do think so. I think we haven't been at a point there in the last couple of years. I think we may be getting there. But I think you're still gonna have the need for contracts like this. I
I
think,
understand.
yeah, you're gonna have some specialty
But we make a
services.
dent. That's my point.
I would like to. And I think next budget season, we can talk about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fully in alignment with Jake. It's to date. There's nowhere near enough regular work for a second inspector and or a full-time construction manager.
That's my understanding of the whole as needed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
approach.
and
Yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah.
this CIP program is near and dear to everyone in this room's heart, and it's finally getting some steam. It's finally not being hijacked year after year and funds being put elsewhere. So I fully am.
Rod, I appreciate what you're saying, but
Yeah.
over the last several years,
Mhm.
we have, for all practical purposes, completely contracted out our entire engineering function. I don't think we have an engineer in the CIP program right now, do we?
We have a judge.
Just this one.
Yeah.
It's just that one. And I
I
don't
guess
think,
he doesn't.
and I don't think the general manager is the appropriate guy to be executing plans and specs.
Well, first of all,
And so
I do
I'm
okay.
concerned that we need to build some institutional capability so that as time goes on, these younger people that we bring in can move up the ladder and they can grow.
first of all, I totally agree with your institutional investment premise.
Okay,
Okay. But as you said, it's possible and before he got here, how is operated, it doesn't matter. We gotta go forward. And so what I see is how does this organization adapt?
Yeah.
And when and when?
Yeah.
And I can also see, since I just heard something about CIP funds being hijacked for a long time, now that's probably not gonna happen. So now we're in a new era where maybe the dynamics of how he wants to advocate spending ratepayers' money.
Yeah.
And may I say something as
Yeah.
well? As someone who has been a volunteer here for quite some time, we have discussed this multiple times.
Mhm.
Also, as a former board member, we have discussed this. And I think the key word for us to consider today in our vote is someone mentioned at this time. This is the best move. It may not be as we go further into budgetary discussions as we move forward. But at this time, I believe this is the best motive.
I'm not raising this now to oppose
No.
moving forward with this item, okay? But this
just-
seems like,
Yeah, no,
this
yeah,
just
but-
seems like an appropriate time to raise the question of
Right.
when can we start
When?
bringing some work
That's a
in-house?
valid question, when, and I just heard
Mhm.
Jake say he's thinking that. He's also thinking about that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And maybe in your spare time, if you want to put on one page your current idea of transition. To start the discussion, fine.
Yeah.
Whenever it's due, I don't care. You know,
So
I know
at,
you got a lot to do.
so at this time, I would like to propose a motion for option one.
I'll second that.
Now, which is option one in this menu?
Option one is to proceed with the staff recommendation.
Well, the staff recommendation is what? To get rid of three and of the three they select, of the
Jack,
three they
please.
interviewed?
Yeah,
Can
staff,
you please
I can read it from.
There you go. You want to do it, Flynn, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, I got it here. Okay, the staff recommendation is
Mhm.
option one, authorize the GM to execute 3 professional services agreements in the amount of $150,000 each
No,
to New City Consulting, Inc., Engineering Resources of Southern California, and Golden State Consultants for as-needed services. That's the staff recommendation, and I think it's entirely appropriate, and that's why I second.
Okay.
So it's been
No,
moved
well, yeah.
moved by Julie,
Yeah.
seconded by me.
okay.
Is there any further discussion? If not, do you do the roll call?
Well,
Please do.
Member Gasca,
Aye.
Member Johnson,
Aye.
Member Smith,
Abstain. I'm certainly in support of as needed, but I have no clue about these 3 versus 3 out of 9, so I have no basis to say those are the 3. That's why I abstain.
Member Marnett,
Aye.
Member Nelson.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, motion carries. Item 12. Consider approval of a change order to Ardura for engineering support services for developer-funded projects.
I would imagine you're gonna have the same comment. You want to go first this time, or do you want me to?
Go ahead, Chad. Introduce the item.
Well, at least a big quack.
There you go. Well, okay, sure.
And this is the new paperwork item, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Hot off the
Oh.
press.
Yeah, so there was a printing formatting error on the budget category where it says historical ratio, potential fiscal impact. And so Carlene handed out comments or
This on,
copies that now have that.
some
correct.
digits on the agenda packet that went out were just cut off on the percentages for historical ratio and potential fiscal impact. So the reprint has the full information.
Okay,
for
thank
your
you.
reference.
So for this one, this is consider approval of a change order to Ardura for engineering support services for developer funded projects district-wide. So we put together some points here. Happy to go through the staff report in great detail if the committee would like. But Ardura services, they are almost completely driven and funded by the developer and customer projects administration fees. So we went back the 3 years that we've been doing this, and approximately $7,319 is what has been charged to the engineering operating budget. All the other funds in this are a complete pass-through from the developer deposits over to Ardura.
This is the same Ardura that is also getting let go on the CM side, right?
Yep.
Okay, all right, good.
Yep. Yeah, very large organization,
Mhm.
different entities. The district has several large development projects currently in the design phase, which Ardura services are needed to execute. That includes what we talked about, the Havens Phase 2, North River Farms, and Ocean Breeze Ranch. These developers are well aware we send them their invoices to update and keep those deposits funded. They know how much money they're spending. This is all at their will and their requests. To date, there have been 6 change orders over time. A couple have just been some to extend the service agreement date, and then others for money. This is for change order number 7. We're asking in the amount of $300,000. And again, this goes back to, well, could we just do 125? But we lowered it the last time. And then on Ocean Breeze Ranch, we burned through that money at an exponentially quick rate. And so for this one, we're hoping let's get through the hurdle on the 3 projects that are out. We just executed that amendment with Rancho Alegre. They may come back and need some plan checks. We have the Palo Mesa Market. We have the, Robert, what's the one? The San Luis Rey Downs Thoroughbred Training Facility that comes and goes. There's the Providence Christian College. There's a lot that are out there, but I think that this amount will get us over the hurdle, get us through these developer plan checks, and keep it going. With that, I'm happy to turn it over to Jake if you have anything to
and I
add.
think to your point on the last item,
Yeah.
we do have projects that are we're in the middle of this thing, right? Or even maybe on the last 30% of what's happening on these projects. And so difficult right now to kind of change horses on this.
Yes.
But I do think this contract actually leads into that runway for if come February, March, we want to talk about bringing some of these services in-house. That, you know, this provides us that gap coverage to be able to do that. They have done an excellent job. I've worked with the folks there, and I've been doing this for a long time, development services and plan checks. That's actually where I started on the public sector. And they look out for the district. They understand our standards and that kind of thing. So kind of bridging the gap. Again, these can be very cyclical too, but you know, but that's what we're trying to do here. Kind of bridge the gap of, if we do want to bring these services in-house, it's certainly a worthy conversation. Could work into that CM, you know, spot too. But we kind of need this to kind of get through these projects while we.
What's their burn rate right now? How much,
It's in there.
how long is this gonna last?
12,000.
300,000.
I think, yeah, 12,800 per month has been the average.
So this
In a hot
is,
environment.
Right.
Yeah.
this is over a year's worth of work? Yeah, this is 3 years worth of work?
2.
Two?
Yeah, about 2.
12,000 times 20,
Almost, yeah, it's closer to 13,000 per month.
13 times 20, 260. Okay, 2 years worth of work.
Potentially. Again, it kind of depends on how much is coming in.
If you bring this in-house, is it pretty much going to require PE?
Yes. Yeah, it would.
Okay, well, even a junior PE makes more than 100.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
Probably way more now.
right.
Carlene really helped me on this memo, so I'm gonna absolutely.
That is part of in the memo. So the bottom of the pay grade for the most entry level person that we could hire, all in, including the benefits and the CalPERS, would be about 163,000. And that's if we're talking fresh out of school, you know, very entry level. Jake would be there supervising PE. That's like the lowest.
So we have to allocate.
So what's in the memo ranges from our lowest possible to our highest possible. And we do look at the possibility of, is it time to bring these services in-house every single year before the budget cycle? The management team discusses, you know, we look ahead at what is our capital budget? How many of the of projects do we have scheduled? What is the workload for each of these things? And we did have 2 full-time project managers in-house. And when that second one left, that's when, in order to keep the rate increase to the range that the board was comfortable with at the time, we froze that position. And we look at it every single budget cycle again to make that determination. Is it time to unfreeze it, refill that position? Same thing with the engineer position. So we evaluate like what our plans are for the projects every single year and the staffing, and we do this sort of, and we do consider not just the hard costs. We consider the institutional knowledge. We do recognize that there is value in that. So we are looking at that carefully every single year before the budget process. But anyway, if you're looking at just the numbers for right now and the costs for entry level versus high number, that's what's in the budget category in the memo.
Well, my other concern is we didn't do a good job of holding on to the last young PE.
Well,
Since
we
there's
did for
an
6
engineering
years.
shortage countrywide,
Yeah.
even if you get somebody in the door, can you really guarantee they're going to stay with the company very long?
Yeah, we absolutely cannot guarantee that. And some of the things that tools that agencies used to have available to entice people to stay longer term were things like retirement medical, a more competitive CalPERS formula. Those are all things that aren't typically offered. We have no control over our CalPERS formula for newer members anymore. So that makes employees very portable from agency to agency, and they can still continue their service.
And I think we can also add to that commentary. Thank you. That was good, Carlene, to hear that. We can also add to that commentary that an engineer that's brought in at a very junior level here, yes, they might vote with their feet at some point and move on. But if there is also a very clear and obvious career ladder here that the person can pursue, and given that the first engineer in the door is likely to be the senior engineer, that person is likely to be promoted as time goes by.
Yeah.
And that is something that we can offer to people, or to point out to people that they're in a primary place to move up in the organization.
And we have taken steps since our last attempted recruitment in is it 2023?
I believe so.
Where we did not get the caliber of the applicant pool that we were looking for and hoping for. We did a compensation study recently, and even though there is no incumbent in this classification, we did include it in the study so that when we do decide that it's time, we know that our compensation offering and placement in our grade structure is more likely to result in the kind of candidates that we're looking for. And we do have the levels from associate to engineer all the way up through senior engineer. So there is a pathway for someone that's happy here and thriving, to be able to grow their career without having to leave.
And my jaw drops when I see, I guess I should infer from the way this is written, that hiring an engineer, quote, fresh out of college, shall we say, is 90,000. That's the low end of the spectrum, 89 and change.
And base pay, and then you add
Benefits.
you add all of the benefits and the CalPERS and
Oh, yeah, I
everything.
get
So,
that. I'm just saying,
so the all-in is 163, including all of the benefits.
I get that, but I'm
That is-
just stunned to hear that a kid coming out of college with an engineering degree can make 90,000.
Easy.
That's
I tell you.
Engineers
kids in
are-
IT make.
Yeah.
huh?
The kids in IT do about threefold that out
Yeah.
of college. I've got a
Yeah.
cousin.
This
That's just
is a
data.
question that is a little bit off this conversation. But sometime maybe in the future, we had interns here. We budget for interns. Are we still utilizing that internship programs? Okay, good.
Yeah, we do have, we have an IT intern right now. We had a PR one earlier. We have a budget for one in operations, for later
So-
this year. We haven't had one in the engineering department.
So that's what I was coming back to. It may be that the team and then going to the board to consider going to engineering to have an intern that is actually going for engineering degrees. We have some we have a robust industry sector and universities that are training these individuals, and to promote an intern here could be possibly a solution to start with.
Great. Okay, so we are back to the final business on item number 12. Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation and recommend that to the board?
I make the motion.
Okay, Mig moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Bob seconds. Roll call vote, please.
Member Gasca,
Aye.
member Marnett,
Aye.
member Smith,
Aye.
member Johnson,
Aye.
member Nelson.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Item 13, notice of completion and acceptance of minor facilities constructed by customers.
This is scheduled to go on the board's consent calendar. This is for a 1-inch water service that was installed by a customer. They hired a general contractor to do the work.
Mhm.
The work has been done. The water service is installed. All fees have been paid. It's been bought off. New valuation of $25,240 will be added to the district's overall asset valuation. And so, yeah, the staff will be asking the board and this committee to accept the appurtenances constructed as completed to the district standard drawings, approve the filing of the notice of completion, and start the 1-year warranty. And that is listed as staff's option 1 in the staff report.
Right.
These are, if we have more than one, they're grouped together.
You bundle them.
They
Right.
do, but if we
right,
just have
right,
one,
right.
there's one.
So in this particular case, who was the source of the need to have this facility constructed? Was it the developer?
The-
Was it
the homeowner.
The homeowner? And the homeowner wanted to add a 1-inch line because
The lot did not have water service to it when they bought it.
there was no water service.
Correct.
I see.
They're installing a
It's
new
new,
water
new
service.
service, yeah.
To
I
build their
understand.
house and.
I understand.
that property.
Okay, got
They
it.
do the same for sewer laterals. If we have sewer
Right.
there, fire hydrants, if the fire department's requesting a fire hydrant.
Now, on top of this, there's a 1-inch one-time fee, right, for getting water.
Yeah, the capacity fee.
Yeah.
So that's a
So-
lot. That's like 20, 30,000, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
For a 1-inch.
So this is standard procedure.
yeah.
Is in compliance with what the policies.
I
and
just want to be
procedures.
sure I heard correctly. Private contractor meets district standards
Oh, yes. Yeah. Class A contractor did this work.
and verified them at district standards.
Yeah, so our district
Yeah.
inspector oversaw all of the installation of this work
And as I read, I think they provide a warranty for
for 1 year.
1 year.
On a 1-inch pipe, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I will make a motion to approve, to go for option 1.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So Julie moves and Robert seconds a motion to proceed recommending the staff recommendation to the board. Roll call.
Member Gasca,
I,
member Marnet,
Aye.
member Smith,
Aye.
member Johnson,
Aye.
member Nelson,
Aye.
motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. We're getting close to the end here, folks, getting close to the end. Item 15, as needed services expenditures summary. The only yellow I saw was the Morrow tank,
For Atlas, that is. correct.
right? And can you just tell us exactly what is out? They are geotech?
Geotech services. So we have 2 inclinometers at that site. We're monitoring the movement.
Okay. And are they participating in the discussions around what might be the remedial action?
Yeah, so it's Atlas is working on that, HDR, or I'm sorry, KDM working on the land survey and Peterson structural on that. So those 3 disciplines all working together.
Okay, and this is not an action item. This is an information item
That's correct.
for us. So is there any comments on this?
We'll,
Huh?
in January meeting, we'll have the report you're working on. The
I
result
don't
of
think
this.
that'll be available in January. I said Q1 of 2026, so
Oh, okay.
February or March. We're working on it.
Okay,
That way they can say the survey was correct.
so having reviewed the engineering as needed report, we're on to item 16, suggested agenda items for the next meeting. Are there any suggested items from the staff that are likely to come up?
When is the next meeting?
That is a good question.
January 6th.
Be in January.
Is
Yeah.
January not December?
We're not having one in
We've
December.
canceled December 2nd.
December's,
Second was canceled.
oh, okay.
Has the
Aqua.
2026 calendar been?
It hasn't been approved yet, not till December 9th, but
December 9th.
tentatively it would be January 6th,
Okay, but the board will approve that at their December meeting.
hopefully.
There you go.
Okay.
Don't talk about directors that way.
We should have an
Don't
update
forget.
for La Cañada.
January 6th, that's our next meeting, right?
Request.
Yes.
January 6th,
Tentative.
Tentative.
tentatively.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, tentatively, the next meeting of this committee is January the 6th, which is Tuesday. And that's that.
26.
Okay.
Right. And,
I have a suggestion for agenda.
okay, go. What is it?
Is staff any? Okay. I would like us to have an update from the staff. On the lobbyist actions that are occurring, that we have, as, correct me if I'm wrong, we have a team of water districts that have teamed together that have hired lobbyists to have some type of update for the E&O committee on how they're how's it going?
Yeah, I mean, well, the intent was that was going to be part of communication and customer service, not so much E&O. But
Well, maybe
You want an
E&O would like to know too.
I can give you an update and we'll see what we can put
Okay.
together. We'll see what we can put together. No problem.
Actually, I think all three committees would benefit from just knowing what some of the
That
lobby
could be like
items.
a
Jake, I'll
GM
record
report,
you.
GM
Yeah.
We'll
report.
just play your
Just
video.
Play the video. Because in the meetings today from the GM report, I would like to know what the lobbyists are pursuing to get us some funds. And I would like to hear from what their action plans are to help us as a district in attaining some state and federal funds.
Okay.
Well,
Good.
if I may, just put a little more
Go ahead.
color to your request. I think based on my experience of many decades, it's not only who are the lobbyists, at what level are they working, at state,
Mhm.
federal, whatever. And that's, to me, is a simple map. We don't need a big report.
I agree.
Yeah.
That you summarize it excellently.
Well,
Thank you, Rodney.
And I have a suggestion.
Go.
At some time, like to just hear a real brief presentation of the 218, risk assessment study, high level.
Well, the 2018.
Yeah, the 2018, what did they identify? And I don't need the big thing. I just want to hear buckets,
Sure.
right?
Short-term months to just email him
Or
that
that too.
study to get him started at least.
And then, some summary of how that's mapping into the formation of your capital plan. Again, high level.
Sure.
It says being on an advisory committee, not a board, but an advisory committee, just to get a sense
Sure.
of your thoughts, that's all.
Okay.
And be in January or whenever.
I have a clarification. On the calendar, it has Tuesday, January 6th, canceled, E&O.
Shouldn't be canceled.
I
Okay,
think
all right.
you may be referring, maybe you,
Okay.
I got it.
Nope.
Mine.
nope, never mind.
Still
Yeah,
good on
take a
mine.
look at
Okay.
it.
I don't show that canceled on my calendar.
Well, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I think it's just.
You don't want me to
Yeah.
come.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, you get a special email.
Not-
You caught on.
I can confirm that for you later.
Oh, confirm.
Okay.
That's special.
I do have one, this is totally aside, but when you repaved the Gopher Canyon, I thought it wasn't that good, but after driving on it and then driving on the new paving job on Gopher Canyon, the state did. was- The state's job is horrible.
What do you
I've
expect?
never
So make
seen
us look
a
really
worse
good. I appreciate it.
new paving job. And yours is starting to wear in very nicely.
Okay.
Now, the only thing better is they just redid a big section from Taylor to Bobbier on Vista.
Mm.
Perfect. An absolute perfect.
Smooth as-
How can the state do one like that and then they let Gopher Canyon just be a piece of junk?
City of Vista, right, for Taylor Bobier, that was a big project through Vista Way down there.
Right.
And then you've got the county in charge of the Gopher Canyon.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Different contractor over there,
So we blame the county.
so.
Yeah.
I've never seen a worse job.
And
They might as well not have paved it. I mean-
and maybe they only did like a 2-inch paving. In Vista, they did, it was a grind. They ground like 6 inches deep and repaved. So, yeah, that's
They did
smooth
this
as silk.
really
Yeah.
sprucing themselves up.
Okay, in the interest of life, we're gonna move away from paving.
Whoop.
Rick, what's up?
I come here to have some
Well,
kind of interaction.
Well, for you.
The standard way that we operate is that at the beginning of the meeting, there's an opportunity for people to speak on any topic that's either on or off the agenda. And then as we go item to item, you can have an opportunity to speak. I think you're supposed to put a speaker slip in order to speak.
I'm Sonny Carson, can't do clairvoyant. In the course of this enlightenment of attending this, questions come up. And I've raised my hand and I'm glad to do a speaker slip, but I have 3 questions. On the meters, Robert, the 300 plus meters that have anomalies, I don't know if they're qualified as failures or not. That's all from the WESUP program, right?
Yes.
what was the warranty on those meters if they fail?
Yeah, so when we actually met with Neptune and basically brought that to their attention, and all those meters, the water going through them was exceeding the capacity that those meters were designed for.
Okay.
So that was our first thing. We met with them. We met with their folks out, I think it was Georgia or Alabama, their factory people out there, and we showed them videos of our bench testing, and they were shocked. And then they're like, how many gallons per minute you run through there? And some of our, let's say for a 1-inch meter, it's 50 gallons a minute. Our customers are running 120 gallons a minute through there.
That was my following question. What class of meters were these and what size were they?
You know,
Was this in the ag arena or
all
or
across the
They're
board.
varied, yeah.
Yeah.
other clarification going way back to engineering? You mentioned a skid and you called it the gopher. So there's been gopher, temporary forever, but then you said it was located at Turner.
Mhm.
So why don't we call it Turner instead of gopher?
Because it's gonna pump to the gopher tank.
Okay. And what's happened to the project that's been on the books for almost a decade now about the connection to the Weiss
Oh, the
water
Weiss.
filtration plant? Because that skid, because we run surface pipe and all that, has that made any progress?
Jake, is it safe to say Weiss is on indefinite hold?
It's on hold at the time. Yeah, and we went through this pump station project in pretty good detail. What was it, 6 months ago when we started design? The Weiss was it's a good idea, right? We'd be nice to pull some water from that City of Oceanside plant. You have some complications now because you'd have to actually execute a wheeling agreement. You have to wheel County Water Authority water through Oceanside to Eastern to us. So there's a little bit of administrative complication, I would say. The other thing with that project is, it does bring maybe even more than administrative complication.
Yeah.
It brings water into the gopher tank, which is good.
It predates the divorce.
It does. It does.
This engineering, which was all planned, it was,
Yeah.
there's a lot of money.
And I think really what we've found over some, planning and, now that we've kind of changed things down in that south
You
end.
think?
Yeah. Is, Chad says that, the pump station will pump from Turner to Gopher, but the intent actually is we'll be able to pull some amount from each one of the three tanks and transfer it into the other three southern tanks. So, that actually provides us a lot more flexibility in what we can do in that to make sure everybody stays in water.
Well, this is a good segue. So remember when we had the unplanned aqueduct shutdown right in the summer?
Yeah.
June, and we only had 3 pump stations completed. So how did that go? I mean, my water ran the whole time.
Yeah.
How close did we get to?
No, we did. We weathered it pretty well. June, we had pretty light demands in June. Actually, yeah, you see that in our July sales numbers. We bled a little bit on sales because demand was down. So that really helped us. We did a lot of preparations ahead of that 20-day shutdown. Number one, just filling up our storage, right? We filled up Morrow, so that kind of kept us going through that. And then also we built that interconnect with Fallbrook. So we were taking water from Fallbrook, which helps supplement from Connection 8, which was the one that was shut down. We ran that. I think we took 200 acre feet, about 200 acre feet in June from Fallbrook. So that helps with that side of the equation, right? We had a supply issue on that one. The Gopher pump station will assist with that as well. If we do have
the Gopher pump station at Turner.
Yeah, Gopher. Yes.
Who's on first?
Hey,
But it's also a lot of other emergencies that it backs.
did we
up.
adjourn?
Yeah.
So that brings me current. So right now, water levels, the Pisa tank, the one that's subsiding, does that have water in it or is it empty?
No, we're using it. We limit the height, but we use it.
So the height in Gopher is so low that I've had to call Robert because my pressure went down 10 pounds.
Yeah, it's water quality thing.
Yeah, I know it's a water quality
Yeah.
thing, but then, so how fast can we recover if there's a fire? That tank is down to how low? Got down to 3 feet in the Gopher tank. And how big is that tank? 10?
No, 3 million gallons?
Oh, 3 million, but only 3 feet in the bottom, enough
Yeah.
where, I see a 10 PSI pressure drop. So now if there's some big fire, Santa Ana, how quickly can we meet fire demand if we've got all these tanks down so low because of,
Pretty fast. We can do about 2,000 GPM directly into that tank
okay,
from Dentro Pump Station. And then worst case scenario, we open up valves, so all three of those tanks will see each other and they'll balance
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And usually when we get forecasted for Santa Ana's, then we adjust.
We start filling.
We,
It's a whole process.
and we won't dip that low.
yeah, I realize there's more than one master here, fire, water quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my injectors weren't dialed in for that low of a pressure. So that's why I prompted me to call Robert, say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Thank you for the.
Cool. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Okay, I
I-
think it's time for us to adjourn. Go.
One quick addition,
Yeah.
if we could get just a quick update at the next meeting. Now I forgot what it was on. It'll come to me and I'll tell her.
Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Do that.
Do that. So I think we're done here. So time to adjourn. QED, let's quit and eat dinner, okay?
All right. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good week.
Great meeting.
Thanks, Nick.